welcome to another episode of the Zeelicious cooking series. Now we're still on with the holiday series edition, and I'm about to show you how to make one very mouth-watering recipe. So today I'm going to show you how to make plantain bread, and some people actually call it plantain cake. Let me introduce you to the ingredients. So for the sake of this recipe, I'm going to be calling it plantain cake because to me it actually tastes more like cake than it tastes like bread. And I think the only reason why it's called bread is because of the baking tin, the kind of baking tin used to making it, and it's actually a little bit light and fluffy. But I choose to call it plantain cake, okay? This is the recipe you want to create when you have some overripe plantains in your house. But you don't necessarily have to wait for your plantains to be overripe before you can use it to create this recipe. You can use the normal ripe plantains to make them, okay? These ones are just slightly overripe. You can see that it already has some black bits all around it. And if it is soggier than this, you can actually still use it. So don't throw out your overripe or bad plantains, okay? So what I'm gonna do is just take out the skin from the plantain like so, just making slits to make it easy for me to peel the skin off the plantain. You can see it's already getting mushy. And in my blender here, I'm just going to cut this into bits to make the blending process a whole lot easier. If you don't want to do this with a blender, you can go ahead and do it with a fork, depends on your fork. But I always like the really smooth puree it gives whenever I use the blender. So my blender is always my go-to. There's no way I'll do this without eating this plantain. I'm a big sucker for plantains, man. Afterwards, I'll just throw a little bit of water into the plantain to make the blending easier. And I'll just blend it up until the very smooth puree is formed. So that's the blending done. I'm just going to set this aside. I'm going to bring it in later. Let me just take this away and bring in my hand mixer. And I'm just going to bring in another mixing bowl. And in this mixing bowl, I'm going to throw in my butter. Sorry, this is margarine, but you can use butter as well for this recipe if that's what you have at home. Just going to scrape out everything because there's no waste in my kitchen. And I'm also going to throw in my granulated white sugar. And before I go in with my mixer, I'll just go in with the spatula and just combine this together so that when I put the mixer in, it doesn't scatter all over the place. Okay, so I think that's done. Now what I want to do right now is just cream my butter and sugar mixture until it is very light and very fluffy. It takes about 3 to 4 minutes using a hand mixer. But if you don't have a hand mixer, you can do it manually, but it's going to take forever. It takes as much as 30 minutes to get it to get to the consistency that is required for this recipe. So it's very important that you invest in a very good hand mixer. They're actually very affordable, okay? So I'm going to go in with my hand mixer and do this, and as I mix, I'm going to scrape down the edges and continue mixing until I achieve my desired consistency. Okay, so that's the creaming all done. What I'm going to do next is just scrape down the edges. Just get all of those by the side there. And then afterwards, I'm just going to break in 2 eggs. I'm going to do it one at a time. As I crack open one, I will go ahead and mix. Then I'll go on with I'll throw in the other one. And I'll mix again. This is a very, very speedy recipe and very easy to make. Next, I'm going to throw in vanilla extract just for some more flavor, and then I'm going to bring in the plantain puree. Now I want to show you the consistency of my plantain puree. You see how smooth it is not so thick, it is not runny, it's just right. So everything is going to go right in like so. This is going to add lots of sweetness to this recipe because plantains are naturally sweet. And if you're looking to cut down on your calorie intake, you can actually just use your plantains and maybe raisins as the only sweetener for this recipe, and then just keep out the granulated white sugar entirely. Okay? Okay, so everything is in now. I will just go ahead and mix again with my hand mixer. Okay, so that's all mixed up now. Let me just scrape down the edges slightly so I can have a neater mixing bowl. I'll take this aside for a while. Take this aside as well. Bring in my second mixing bowl and I'll proceed to working on my dry ingredients. So in here I have my all-purpose flour. Here I have my baking powder and my baking soda. And then I'm going to put some of my favorite spices. This is nutmeg. This is cinnamon. And I have some salt, just for taste. Then I will go ahead and mix. Okay, I think I better get another spoon. Mix this all together to combine. So what I'll do next is, I have my dry ingredients ready. I have my wet ingredients ready. And then I have my milk. I'm just going to go ahead right now and transfer half of my dry ingredients into this batter and my milk, and then after mixing I'll transfer the other half into the batter, and then I'll mix to combine everything together. So this is the first half. I'll mix. I'll throw in the milk. I'll mix again. Before I proceed, I want to scrape down the size of my mixing bowl. I hate a very messy mixing bowl. It's just very irritating sometimes. Okay, so finally I'm going to throw in the other half of the flour mixture. This batter smells so nice. And I'll mix it up one final time. Now you don't want to over mix your batter. You just mix it until everything is totally mixed up, but don't over mix, okay? So that's all done now. I will just go ahead right now and just scrape down the edges, the sides one more time, just like so. So if you like the crunchy feel when you're eating your bread or your cake or whatever, you can go ahead at this point and add whatsoever kind of nuts you like. You can add peanuts, you can add almond nuts, you can add cashew nuts, you can add pistachios, you can just add whatever it is you like. But I don't have any nuts available, so I'm just going to throw in a little bit of raisins, just tiny, because I want to save some for garnishing the top. It always looks very pretty when you put raisins right on top of it. So I'm just going to mix this together. Okay, so that's fine. And so afterwards I'm going to bring in my baking tin. I've already greased it with a little bit of oil. You can use butter or cooking spray if you have some. And I'm going to fill the baking tin halfway up. Now this batter is enough to make 2 loaves of bread using this baking tin. So it means that I would have to bake this twice. So I'm going to pour half of the batter in here. I think that's fine. Then I'll just smoothen it out so that everything comes out leveled up. Level up by Ciara. Who knows that song? That song is so energetic, man. Jeez. Just to ensure that it is really flat. Then I'm going to take my raisins and I'm just going to gracefully grace the top of the batter with it. It always comes out so pretty when it's done baking. Okay, I think that's enough. We don't want to overdo it. One more, just there. And I'll just clean out the sides of the pan. Take out any excess butter. And then I already have my oven preheating at 350 degrees Fahrenheit, and I'm just going to throw this in there and allow it to bake for 35 to 40 minutes, or until a toothpick inserted into the middle comes out really clean. I'll see you all in a bit, okay? Ta-da! So my plantain cake is fresh out of the oven, looks so pretty. I told you that when you put raisins, it actually helps boost up the look and makes it look prettier and finer. So you can just cut your plantain cake into slices, and then you can have it with coffee or tea or fresh juice or whatever it is your taste buds like. Go wild, have a good time, but don't forget to share. Make sure you share, don't take it all by yourself, okay? So you don't take in all the calories. So now you know how to make a plantain cake. If you're ever going to recreate this recipe, please kindly send me your recreations. I'm on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook as zeeliciousfoods. In case you're wondering, do I necessarily have to use just plantain? Can I use bananas? Of course, you can go ahead and use bananas if that's what you have available wherever you are. So if you like this video, please go ahead and give us a thumbs up so that we know what kind of videos to create for you. And if you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, what are you waiting for? Go ahead and hit the subscribe button and the notification bell beside it so you can get instantly notified whenever I upload a new video. I'll see you again next time with another beautiful recipe. Until then, remember to be very nice to one another. Love yourselves generously and happy holidays. I love you. Bye-bye.